Hello, hello, Internet. How are you today on this fine Saturday evening? It is March the 14th, I believe, and we will bring you now the second. Oh, really? Someone's gonna call me right now? Right now? Ah, that's the worst. Anyway, welcome to the second Loop Council live broadcast, also known as the second Loop Council live broadcast #2. I am your humble host, the infamous Biz, also known as Mr. Lamb, teacher extraordinaire, and all other good things that Bones and Bones is. And of course, with us we have the other usual suspect, the granddaddy of pro wrestling writing, Mr. Ashley Morris. Say hello, my friend.
Hello out there, and thank you for joining us. And I have to make a public service announcement. This second second Lewd Council broadcast is brought to you by the fine people at hittheropesradio.com backslash please visit us today. And moving forward, hi everybody. You like how I did that, right?
Yeah, I don't care. That was good. That was good. I like that. All right. Now we got that out the way. Let's get right into pro wrestling talk. Eventually, we're going to get to a whole little, this week in wrestling thing, kind of like John Oliver does on last week's night. We're not at that point. It's only episode 2. So let's get into the first topic on my mind. We have a lot of the card for WrestleMania filled up already. We know we're going to have Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. We know we're going to have that ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. We know we're going to have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And the Big Show wins is going to turn into the Big Show Memorial Battle Royal, which is always funny because you have to stand to have a memorial. But the match, two matches that everyone's talking about are Sting and Triple H, because Sting will finally be in the WWE ring. First match will be WrestleMania, like Fandango, and Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. Now, I'm going to focus a little on the second match because I'm seeing how a lot of people are reacting, and it's always been kind of it's very interesting. A lot of people are saying that they wish they could rewind time and make this for a streak. Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker for a streak. And anytime I hear that, it really leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Because I guess my question immediately is, what do we care more about? Do we care more about the Undertaker or the streak of the Undertaker? Because it's two different things. When you look at the Undertaker, he is easily one of the most iconic performers in professional wrestling history. And there really is there's no denying that whatsoever. On the other hand, you have the streak, WrestleMania streak, the undefeated streak that went on for years. Um, even ESPN, I think. ESPN was some sports news people. I forget exactly. I want to say ESPN. Listed the streak as one of the greatest streaks in professional sports. That's that's pretty big. So I'm wondering if a lot of people are looking at this and saying that the match between the two is going to be cheapened because the streak isn't on the line. On the other hand, I'm like, well, I mean, even if the streak was on the line, it would, for me, it kind of loses meaning and value unless the person that would take the streak from Undertaker was already undefeated himself. And they already wasted that opportunity by, you know, well, okay, I was about to say something real stupid. I didn't really think it was similar logistics. If they had Undertaker and Bray Wyatt last year, like a lot of people wanted, then Bray Wyatt could have been the one in the I guess. But now people are saying it's freaking nothing. Freaking nothing. I mean, it's ridiculous to me, but it ain't all about me. What do you think, my friend?
When you brought this topic up, I honestly never thought about it. I never gave it any mind whether or not we fans cared about the Undertaker, the character, the person that plays the Undertaker in real life, Mark Calloway, or if we care more about the streak and what the streak stood for in our minds. And when you posed that question, I had the ooh face because it forced me to think about it. And my immediate thought, my first thought and immediate thought was that we don't really care about the person that plays the Undertaker character and what that has in significance to the streak itself. I think we do care more about the streak, but unfortunately, every second that passes, every day that we see and we live through and moves forward, we can't go back. So I think it's kind of it's a fruitless journey to sit and dream whimsically that we could go back in time and make this Bray Wyatt versus the Undertaker's unbeaten streak. Well, we can't. So I mean, it's a nice thought, but we can't. But I think the bigger picture is what is it that what is it that we wanted with this streak never ending? Like Mark Calloway, the man who is the Undertaker, um, he can't rewind time either. So it's like when you watch all the WWE about him or anybody else, he's not getting younger, he's getting older. And we as wrestling fans tend to only really care about wrestlers for as long as they can produce. Once they can't produce and they go off to greener pastures or they settle into retirement in other modes, unless you're somebody that stays in the fans' face, for the most part, we just kind of give them their respect and their space in retirement. And in the public, we grab pictures if they're fortunate enough and they're pleasant enough and they're not with their families up to doing it. They'll give us autographs, they'll reminisce and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, get back to the point when we're talking about the street. It's, to me, when Brock Lesnar broke it, and you weren't there when we were watching it. Were you?
Yeah, I was here.
Huh?
I was here.
Oh,
In the
okay. So we were, myself, and for those of you watching, and if you're not watching now, you'll probably be watching later when it gets posted to the site. It's still realtomedamit.com. Um, there, we've got there's a whole bunch of us that's in L.E.W.D, but there's only a handful of us that write or comment regularly on the site and talk in our other groups and other areas. And so when I mention these names, they won't mean anything to you, but Sam and Adam and Quinn was down here. Yeah, Quinn was here, and we had some other people watching it with us too. If I'm forgetting any L.E.W.D people, forgive me. A year does hell on your mind. But we were all in the middle of having various conversations in the room where we were watching it at. And all of a sudden, it was like 3, ding, 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 and everybody snapped out and was like, wait, what? We were just as stunned as everybody was in the arena. Like, we were so somewhere else. And I tell you that story when I, mentioned the fan. I think the fans care more about the streak than, the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt and all this other stuff, is that we were having conversations about other matches, everything under the sun. It's almost like we were commentating the match. We were talking about all this other stuff except what was in front of us, and we didn't pay attention to it until that moment when the bell rang, and we wanted to know whether or not the streak was still intact. And I think that's an interesting thing about records and streaks. You're always waiting for it to be broken. Look at Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao coming up in May. This is the fight we've been waiting for the longest, but a part of our getting ready for this fight is being, anticipating Mayweather losing. Some of us hoping Mayweather loses so he gets to be whatever his record is and won. And no matter what Mayweather goes, where he goes, if he loses, everybody's going to pay attention to that one. And they're going to dog him out for that one, which is what they've been doing with Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. And Paul Heyman's been saying it over and over and over again. So at this point, is it even necessary to worry about the streak, quote unquote? And is it more important to look at the characters that are getting ready to have this epic match? And even though the build was not where most of us would have wanted it to be, to see what the story is being told by this unfolding. And it's been happening before our eyes. Bray Wyatt has pimped himself as the new face of fear. Bray Wyatt has pimped himself as the character to beware of when you are talking about WWE wrestlers. Kevin Sullivan, in one of the old episodes of WCW Nitro, that I watched on the network, which is still available for $9.99. Uh, $9.99. Yep. Larry Zbyszko and Tony Schiavone were talking about a match that Kevin Sullivan was in, and Zbyszko said, and I'm not quoting him directly, but Zbyszko said there are some guys who wrestle for the money, and others wrestle just to hurt people. And Kevin Sullivan is not a wrestler who wrestles for money. And so after he said that, I started paying attention to how Kevin Sullivan was wrestling, and it was the most god awful, bowling shoe ugly type of offense that he had. But it's, Zabisco's commentary led right back up to what Kevin Sullivan was doing in the ring. And so when you think about the character of Bray Wyatt, and people are like, oh, he should be in this contention for championship. Bray Wyatt is one of those people that doesn't care about championships. He's about certain moral victories and holding up certain virtues that he holds dear to himself and with his people. And so it doesn't matter whether or not he's a world heavyweight champion. He's there just literally to see the world burn. And here he is jumping on top of an advantage. We can Undertaker only appears once a year. Oddly enough, he's one of the only part-time wrestlers people don't complain about wrestling part-time, interestingly enough. Anyway, you've got this character that's been broken, disappeared. You've seen pictures of him in real life. You may have, if you live in Texas, here where he is, you know what he's doing, his philanthropic efforts. He's going out to football games. He's living his life. But now, the character of The Undertaker comes back, and here's Bray Wyatt saying, I'm here to legitimize myself. Somebody else said it in one of the other wrestling that I watched, saw, or documentary, that at a certain point, it didn't matter whether or not you beat The Undertaker. The fact that he wanted to work with you, or he was willing to work with you, even if you lose, puts you in an echelon that a lot of other performers are not in. And so that's what this really is about. It has nothing to do with the street. It has everything to do with the characters going into this match. And that's what you really want to see. You really want to see crazy, demented, I have trouble understanding the gospel that he's preaching, Bray Wyatt, go up against the dead man. Street be damned. This is a redemption moment for The Undertaker, and this is proving ground for Bray Wyatt. And if Bray Wyatt can hang with The Undertaker, who, at whatever age he's going to go, then that's legitimizing the man. And that's saying a lot more for who Bray Wyatt is and the respect that he is earning, I'll say, the respect that he is gaining from his peers, particularly The Undertaker, as he's growing in the company, that a lot of other people just haven't had that opportunity for various reasons. Not to say that The Undertaker doesn't respect care for anybody else on the roster, but you got to think, this is a main event marquee match. Just being in the ring with The Undertaker is big by itself. Street be damned. It's just the fact that you're wrestling against Mark Calloway at WrestleMania. And even if you feel that the build to WrestleMania this year, the previous years hasn't been strong, again, it's WrestleMania. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we all know Coca-Cola's bad for us, but we buy Cokes. So it's just like, this is a big deal. It's the same thing when Starrcade was going on with WCW. You could be on the tail end of the card or the lower end of the card, curtain jerking and wrestling. What's the guy's name? Last name's Flynn. One of my favorite WCW wrestlers, Jerry Flynn. Not Jerry. Jerry. He was a kickboxing guy. Goldberg, of course. But anyway, you could be wrestling him at Starrcade on the undercard, but name all the people that didn't make that that undercard.
Probably ain't make it.
Yeah, and so I think fans. To go back to my point, I think fans care more about the street than they do everything that I just mentioned. My question would be why? Why did Bray Wyatt have to go in and try to beat the street when we would all know that he wasn't going to do it?
Right. Right. And that's really how I've been looking at it. When you look at the match, it's like Bray Wyatt has to go for the street. I'm like, he doesn't have to. I mean, frankly, I'd rather see him, take on the Undertaker and gain something from the match, whether he wins or loses. And to be fair, I think he's going to lose this match. I think he's going to lose the WrestleMania. But I honestly think this is one of those movies where he can really gain one of those kind of mentor kind of things from the Undertaker. Kind of like that old thing I wrote way back when about the rise of Bray Wyatt, the new face of fear. I think that wasn't what it was called, but it might be what it was called that. Down to the fact that the last on what's called Raw, his chair was better than man. And that was the first thing I talked about in that little story I wrote. It was like, and the chair was repaired. Why? Only so it could really be destroyed shortly after by the Undertaker, which is still funny to me. He all goes through all that work to repair that wooden chair, and lightning, fire. Oh. But in any case, I'm looking forward to the match because I want to see where it takes Bray Wyatt. For Undertaker, if it's not his retirement match, I could see this being, the match that makes you say, the old guard that's kind of left the building. And it's about time we, leave the young ones. I can see that as well. Really, if we're going to talk about marking out, though, like truly marking out, I would, if they brought the American Badass back for WrestleMania, I would mark out for that. If they combine the American Badass and the traditional Undertaker Persona for a Ghost Rider type thing, I would mark out for that even more. Just for the theatrics and everything. It's like, oh snap, Ghost Rider. Bray Wyatt ain't got no chance now. Now we got an old new face of fear coming here with the Undertaker, combining something that was all American, a jerk, and something that was gothic himself. And putting them together to be Nicolas Cage. But what's scarier than Nicolas Cage? Nothing. Nicolas Cage is a scary man. Everything he says is scary. But I digress. So that's really, what I want to get say about that particular match. I don't want to dwell on too much because we really can't talk about full WrestleMania stuff here, which we're not going to do. We got something a little bit more interesting to talk about in a second. And it's been a second. Let's talk TNA a little bit. I really wish Quinn were here because he would be able to give a dissertation. I don't know where he is. We'll probably hear about it later. He'll ask questions. But I watched the tail end of Impact Wrestling that came on Friday. I caught it this morning. Watching Ethan Carter III take on Rockstar Spud in what was a bloody match between a midget and a man with a bionic arm. And I was confused. Part of it is that I don't watch the program regularly. To be fair, I don't watch Impact Wrestling very often because, I have standards. But I was watching this, and I'm like, what? Why? Nothing about this makes sense. See, I can get Rey Mysterio taking on someone bigger than him, and being an underdog. I can take seriously like a Spike Dudley overcoming something. And like I said, I watched these guys regularly when they were on TV. I watched them regularly when they had televised matches and whatnot. And I have watched Rockstar Spud and Ethan Carter III. I've seen this whole little feud, at least bloom. I didn't see every step leading up to this match, but I've been watching stuff, so on and so forth, to see that this match was happening. But even so, as I watched it, I was sitting there wondering, why is this match a thing? You can see it's a hair versus hair match, which is even more confusing because who cares? And, Ethan Carter III has hair, Rockstar Spud has hair, so let's have a hair versus hair match. What's so embarrassing about that? It's another bald English. That's not that's a badge of honor. I mean, look at Patrick Stewart. He's not English, but he's a distinguished man. He's bald. Even Big Show. You look at him. You don't like him that much anymore. It's time the sun is long since past. But it's like he's bald too. It's like watching Dragon Ball Z on the bridge. I remember at one point there was when Vegeta and Nappa had landed, and the news outlets were coming and everything. Nappa looked at everybody. He looked at Krillin and he looked at Piccolo. He's like, "Look, Vegeta, more bald people." And I was like, "More bald people." And that's the whole lesson I got from the end of TNA's Impact last night. More bald people. Who cares? Rockstar Spud, I get it. You're the underdog. You're small and you wear a bow tie for some reason. Meaning you can't be trusted. But eh, why should I be emotionally invested in you? What are you doing? You got betrayed by the Carters. Who cares? I mean that's pretty much anybody that's ever worked with Jay Z. You get beat up by Ethan Carter III. Congratulations, get in line. How does it feel knowing that you are literally the father for an NXT reject? And speaking of NXT rejects, yeah,
You went there.
BJ. Let's talk about TNA and the fact that they are literally using one of their own as the father for the NXT region. And that is a mean thing to say because anybody that really got into the front door at NXT, outside of maybe CJ Parker, has earned and deserves that spot in NXT. And that is, for all intents and purposes, some people may disagree, and I have no problem with that disagreement in this case. I would say NXT is the best wrestling show on TV right now. It's worth that $9.99 you have to pay every month. Because the WWE Network is $9.99. So, you know, so you got Ethan Carter III now in TNA. You have him. He's not in the main event picture. He's fighting a small person. And he's not Brad Maddox small. And he's not Brad Maddox cool either. He's just small and English. And let's be honest. After they leave or wherever they are in the UK, TNA is just gonna kind of forget about the English people that they have been using so prominently. Well, but that's my little mini rant, and I know you have some thoughts to add on this because I mean, you and Quinn rant about TNA. You make it an art form. I look up to you. Y'all are my heroes in that regard. So please, show me how it's done.
Yeah, we said we could charge people and give weekend seminars on this movie. And the funny thing is, Quinn was serious about it. And what makes that even funnier is that I think we could actually pull it off. You and I had this conversation earlier, and I went off. And the funny thing was, I was driving, but I was parked at the time I was texting you. Don't text and drive. Hey, hashtag X. All right. Demi Lovato said something about that. Demi Lovato, yeah. I'm not up on my pop culture references like I should be. But in any case, I was texting you about this, and here's my thing with that. I think we and if you visited the site and you've heard us, and even if you went through my stuff on Bleacher Report, it's funny because as much angst as I had against the company, a lot of the stuff I talked about on Bleacher Report ended up happening and not happening. And so it's like on one hand, it's like, wow, he was right. He was kind of prescient. But the other thing is that at L.E.W.D, we have a definite slant towards all things WWE. You know this. And that doesn't make us any different from any other sites that have definite slants toward other promotions. That's just how we are and who we are and what we do. And out of everybody in L.E.W.D, I tend to be the one that watches TNA consecutively and religiously, just about as religiously as I watch anything that the WWE puts on Monday nights. And one of the things that irked me when I read the spoilers for the shows that they taped yesterday night in Orlando, and I won't give away the results here, but when the shows come up, you'll see what happens. But this whole conversation about WWE rejects, and to get back to what I wanted to originally say, I think our argument for their hiring of so many ex-WWE people has matured beyond the whole they keep hiring ex-WWE people. At this point, for me, it's like, why do they hire ex-WWE people, and particularly folks who were let out of developmental? Well, the first episode of British Boot Camp 2, Samoa Joe, Al Snow, Gail Kim were the judges. And two things stuck out to me. The first thing that stuck out to me as they had Jeremy Borash doing narration for certain parts of the show. And Jeremy Borash says that anyone in the business will tell you that the business is a character-driven institution. So the first thing all three of those judges had the wrestlers do was not wrestle, but to talk about themselves and to show them the characters that they could be. I thought that was interesting because more so TNA fans, or diehard TNA fans, more so than the company, and now, wrestlers within the company, certain wrestlers, will talk about wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. But here they are telling you that it's about characters too. So then when we start getting into this thing that, well, TNA is pro wrestling, let's not go that far. It's just sports entertainment light. Okay, but that's the first thing that stood out to me. The second thing that stood out to me was that they made it, if it wasn't the first episode, it was the second, but at least the first two episodes, they made it clear that they were looking for talent that they didn't have to groom. They were looking for talent that they could take from the UK and put on their show and immediately have them move into storylines and programs and whatever the case may be. And there were a couple of people that they saw that they said, wow, if this person had 2, 3, 4 more years of training, they'll be great. But that's not what we're looking for. So when I started thinking about them, TNA's insistence, I should say it like that, on hiring people that left the WWE, whether under good circumstances or bad ones, it stood out to me, and this was Eric Bischoff's thing, and he said it in his book, and he said it in real life, that wrestlers don't belong to companies. They're independent contractors, and so a star is over, and wherever they are, they're going to be over. My issue with that is that that's what TNA consistently does. They hire people that they don't, or better yet, let me take a step back and say this a better way. When it comes to WWE stars, they end up getting people that have already either A, been through the developmental system, or B, made some sort of name for themselves. So that way, when they come into TNA, you don't have to send them to a developmental center. You don't have to sit on them for 2 or 3 years. You can just immediately put them into the programming and move forward. Because at this point, I don't know if the company can take the time to develop a star that can be their own. The first argument that would stick out to my head would be Magnus, and look where he is, putting over Bram, another ex-WWE star who got released out of developmental. And same thing with Rockstar Spud. Rockstar Spud was made with this feud with Ethan Carter III, but where is the focus? Is the focus on Rockstar Spud or the focus on Ethan Carter III? People will tell you it's Rockstar Spud, but he's going to be gone for about a month. And that's not even talking about spoilers. That's talking about as far as where the character is going to go. The feud's over. Ethan goes up. Spud goes where? And I won't give you the spoilers. And so that's what kind of irked me, is because when you look at TNA, all of their homegrown people are getting lowball contracts and leaving. You know what I'm saying? Or lowball contract renewals after 10 plus years in the company. So say what you will about that, but they're no longer there. They split on good terms, and people go about their business. So TNA's like, yeah, now we're getting into this thing where we're developing young talent. But let's think about people. Let's look at it in terms of this. When you think of superstar, superstar, and not superstar in the terms of sports entertainment WWE style, but superstar in the sense of I want to pay to see this person's name on the marquee, right? Easily, if we're going to do a comparison to the WWE, easily John Cena sticks out there. As controversial as he is, if John Cena's name is somewhere on the marquee, people show up. Same thing can be said about Daniel Bryan. Same thing definitely can be said about Brock Lesnar. Let's realistically look. Put TNA in that same situation. Who on that roster, if you knew they were headlining, you could guarantee 14,000 plus people are going to pay money to see that person at the top of the card? I'll wait.
I will say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was at one point. I would say you had Kurt Angle that can do that. At
But
one point, I would say you could have Jeff Hardy do that.
but
At
where
one
did they
point,
come from? Where did they come from? You get
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're about to say, but I got at one point Sting could have been that person, but now Sting is going to wrestle his first WWE match at WrestleMania, and much like that little picture,
Yeah.
live broadcast, so I haven't printed it out or anything. I can't hold it up or anything. But it said a year ago, Sting was wrestling here, and he had an impact at some high school, you know, uh, 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 gym or whatnot. Ring, seats around the ring, people in the stadium, and the basketball hoop in the background, which just looks volume out everything. And then you see, and now you see, now he's going to be here. WrestleMania, I don't even know which WrestleMania it was. It might have been 30. It might have been 29. But it was just people everywhere cheering and everything. Yay, WrestleMania! You got an icon like Sting. He is an icon. He is the icon. He is a vigilante and so on and so forth. I thought about an analogy about who he was, who I could compare him to a while back. If I can remember, it would be hilarious right now, but I can't remember. Anyway, he is that icon. So you really fall into an interesting trap here. Like you have Sting, you have Sting, you have the man that literally, went down with WCW like he was the captain of the ship, because of company loyalty. You don't see that kind of loyalty in wrestlers very often. You see it in Uncle, you see it in Mark Henry, you see it in Sting. You don't see it walking with too many wrestlers. And, you know, he is completely irrelevant in TNA. And I'm not saying that to be, mean towards TNA. I'm mean towards TNA naturally. But, I don't say it to be mean towards TNA. They have literally squandered people that could be seen as legends. Yeah, Kurt Angle, Sting, even Jeff Hardy. I mean, Jeff Hardy ruined himself. Let's be honest. But he squandered all the people. And now you got people much like with RVD. You see Sting in the WWE now. A lot of people are like, why'd you go out of retirement, Sting? I'm like, that man ain't right. He's still in wrestling. He's doing the TNA. What do strippers have to do with this? We're talking about Sting. That's how the conversation goes. And that goes back to the whole notion of TNA being less than anything. One of the things I said earlier was, question, TNA, TNA's greatest success or something, greatest failure. I'm like, I mean, their greatest opponent is success. It's like they don't want success. They're constantly trying to be WWE light, or they're trying to be, indie number one or something. I don't know. There's no identity for them themselves. It's the same argument why Johnny Depp will never get an Academy Award, because Johnny Depp always plays something different. There is no individual identity for Johnny Depp. That's why he will never get the Academy Award. This is at Washington. You look at any of his early movies before he got the Academy Award. You know exactly why he got the Academy Award. He went outside of himself and did something that went outside of the identity he established for himself. So it's the same thing with TNA. And let's be honest, it's a little late now. It's the 13 years they've been around now, 13 years, 12, 13 years, and we're still wondering who they are. It's the same thing with Mark Henry got on Reigns about that. I laughed because that was fourth wall breaking like that. Like, I'm the world's strongest man. I know who I am. I have an identity. You don't. That's real. That's just as much pandering to the fans as it is, pointing out the obvious. But that's what it is. And I'm going to move away from TNA a little bit so we can talk about one of the biggest free agents right now, Mr. Samoa Joe. Good old Samoa Joe, who's in ROH now. and rumors are that he's in negotiations with the WWE, so on and so forth. Um, I want to hear your thoughts on that a little bit, and I'm going to offer my thoughts on that a little bit. That should probably take us to the hour mark. And at that point, I figure we'll just talk a lot of little comical mess for the rest of the maybe a few minutes because why not? Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, what we didn't put on the site was that when we when we got the news that Mr. Joe, as you call him, was released immediately. My response was, "Thank God!" Like that. I said, "Praise the Lord," and I said this not because I was happy that the man was without work, because he wasn't, and I knew he wasn't, but it was like Samoa Joe's character after that last iteration had just never, the character never bounced back from that. And you talked about squandered talent. I mean, let's just get this straight. Let's just be real. If I can be real with you in this video, and whoever watches it outside of this, no wrestling promotion in the world is immune from making mistakes when it comes to characters. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody and no organization, no institution is without some fault. So let's get it out of our heads that TNA is incapable of not utilizing talents properly. Okay, when Magnus came in, he was 21 years old, and he was touted as being the future of the business. Former world heavyweight champion in TNA, one of the youngest, first British world heavyweight champion male in how many years? 100 years? And what is he doing now? He's in a storyline with a man who's attacking his fiance and threatening his family, and this isn't sports entertainment. Moving on. Anyway, so when Samoa Joe was let go, I said, thank God. And we toasted, me, you, and Mr. Gammon, we toasted on the L.E.W.D site because congratulations. And the reason we did this again is not because we were happy that he was losing his job, and nothing against TNA, but it's like now he has freedom. So it's kind of like when people get released from the WWE, you're like, thank God, and they go on and they do other things. I was thinking about crafting a post like that for the site where I was going to call it Life After, and look at, you know, wrestlers now who leave promotions and end up going elsewhere and doing great stuff, being content with their careers, being able to do what it is that they want to do, where they were limited in a lot of ways. Alberto Del Rio and Rey Mysterio Jr., most two recent releases from the WWE, and Del Rio as Alberto El Patron is doing great, or was doing great in ROH and Lucha Underground and AAA. And I think he has an injury of some sorts now. But even Rey Mysterio, when people saw Rey Mysterio at the House of Hardcore event, they were saying that he looked great, and it looks like he was in the best physical shape that he had been in some time, and he seems to be happy. But the same thing can be said about AJ Styles after leaving TNA. He goes on, becomes the leader of the Bullet Club because Fergal Devitt ends up coming to the WWE as Finn Balor, and he's doing great as Finn Balor in NXT. And AJ Styles is all over the place and is completely happy, so happy that I think there was one interview that they did with him, and they asked him, well, you know, what about the WWE? And he's like, he wouldn't go because he's making great money and he's happy doing what he's doing, where he's doing it now, plus his family's important to him. So that's the same way I felt about Samoa Joe when he got, you know, when the contract stuff didn't work out and he walked away from the company. It's like now Joe can go anywhere and do anything he wants to do and possibly utilize his skills and talents better than what they were looking for him to do in TNA. He can get that albatross off his neck because, truth be told, he wasn't really doing anything. Even when you looked at the stuff he was doing with the Beatdown crew, not really doing much.
We also have albatross in our second, using the word albatross in our second live broadcast. Congratulations, you win tonight.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I tried. So, you know, my thing is, it didn't even really matter to me whether or not he would go to the WWE. It didn't. I just wanted him to be able to go somewhere where they could utilize Samoa Joe in a better way than what was going on while he was in TNA. Because the character had just lost a step, and it was just painful to watch Samoa Joe be there and really be a shell of the beast that first came through so many years, 9 years ago, you know. Now, it's interesting that he even admitted in an interview that there were negotiations. He didn't necessarily say they were ongoing, but he said there had been negotiations with him and the E, which would lead me to another point to make in another article in the future, or even a lewd council such as this, is how NXT resurrects careers, you know. And Samoa Joe, if he were to sign a contract with the E, that doesn't necessarily mean he could be of the most benefit on the main roster or as a talent that works the main roster. Put him in NXT as a trainer now that you do have an opening, um, or just have him not only do the training stuff, have him as a talent in NXT to make other wrestlers look good. And I mean, you got a winning combination. And I think we don't think of business in terms like that. We immediately, as fans, we immediately want to put superstars leaving into the other organization, and then they have to be on the card, and then they have to be utilized in a way that we feel is best for them. But we don't think about the many options that they have. I'll give you another example. When I heard that Sarah Del Rey was going to the WWE, I was like, yes, I was excited. And then she didn't wrestle, and I got sad. But she's training the NXT Divas. And so you've got Sasha Banks, you've got Charlotte, you've got Bayley, you've got the Irish chick. I can't think of her name right now. But you know, you got Leva Bates, old blue pants. You've got Alexis Bliss. You got Carmella. And all of them are doing excellent in NXT. So much where the fans and even analysts start stirring the pot between how the divas on the main roster feel about the divas in NXT. And in some interviews, divas on the main roster are asked, and they're doing the corporate game, but they probably feel great about what's happening in NXT, and wish they could have the same type of support that the divas in NXT have. And so when I look back at it, I get mad at myself because Sarah Del Rey is doing perfectly well in the role and position that she has with the company. Yeah, she could have made a blast on the main roster, but she's doing a heck of a lot more, I think, by being able to give her knowledge and her expertise to the upcoming divas, upcoming female athletes. We'll say it like that. And I think the same could be said for Samoa Joe. I don't know what's in his head about retirement or what's in his head about where he wants to go with his career, but he can do anything under the sun that he wants to because he's a grown man and he makes his own decisions. If he went to ROH full time and wrestled in Japan full time, I'm perfectly happy with that. If something worked out with him in the WWE, I'm perfectly happy with that. If the man joined Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling whenever that gets off the ground, I'm perfectly happy with that. If the man went to Lucha Underground or Dragon Gate or Evolve, I'd be even more ecstatic about that than anything else that I've mentioned. But the fact is that no matter where the promotion is, you don't want to see superstars languish in obscurity when everybody under the sun knows that there's better they can do. In fact, that's why a lot of fans are pissed off at the E, because half of the stars on the main roster fit into that category. Languishing, doing absolutely nothing when they could be doing a hell of a lot better if they were allowed the freedom and the space to do that. So that's how I feel about Joe and the situation with TNA, which is old news by now, but I'm very happy for him. Whatever the man wants to do, as a fan that supports Samoa Joe and what he can do you, brother. Wherever you end up, I'm happy for you. Just like I said, glad we got that albatross, or that albatross was removed from around his neck, because it really was. Even watching the stuff and knowing that the stuff that comes on now was recorded back in January, I'm just like, oh, you can see that this is just, you know.
That's real. It's real. When Joe, left TNA, for one, I didn't hear a lot of the same kind of anger from the fans that I heard when David stopped. So I thought was interesting. Second, my first thought was, where does it go from here? Does it retire? Does it go to, indie promotion? Actually do something with all that talent that he still has or whatnot. I wouldn't say he's in his prime anymore, but he can still more than move around the ring. Um, And then, conversations about does the WWE pick him up came up. And my first thought was, no, no, they don't. And, and, people feel like, well, he could take on Kevin Owens, and we think about him going up against John Cena and all this. I'm like, yeah, if he was about what 30 or 29, I'll even go as high as 32. But what's that, 35 now, 36?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying he's an old man, but he ain't in his prime no more. And it's not like he came into, you know, he comes into the WWE at that age and whatnot. He's starting fresh. But then, as time goes on, you see more and more conversations and debates and arguments. And it's like, you know what? It doesn't sound so bad if he goes to the WWE, NXT especially, and, applies his trade there in the ring. And it wouldn't be bad either if he went along and started training. You bring up a good point. We often look at, if they're not on the main roster or something, they're not, taking on so and so any wrestler has some big feud, if they don't get the Kevin Owens type of push, then we automatically think they're being wasted. Honestly, I didn't. I knew Sharon already was training. I knew she was training. But you don't often think about that. You don't often think about the people behind the scenes making sure the people are doing their best. So God bless Sarah already, because look at what she's done with Charlotte. Look at what she's done with Bailey. Look at what she's done with the future Mrs. Land. Great things. I mean, my future wife is NXT Women's Champion. All right, that's good. This is good. We are happy. We are very happy. Couldn't be happier. So, you know, if Samoa Joe went to the WWE and became a trainer, and if he did take that coveted spot that Bill DeMott has left behind, and yes, I do want to make a Bill Cosby joke right now, but I'm going to restrain myself from making that joke.
Please do.
I'm going to restrain myself now. We both work jobs and we can be fired off of such nonsense.
Yeah, no.
You know, I think he would thrive. Not only would he probably get paid better than he did in NXT, I mean, not NXT, TNA, but he would be able to pass on that, knowledge and whatnot to the true new generation of superstars, coming up 21, 19, 24 years old. They're going to leave the industry, within a few years. And it's going to be big. Now, I didn't expect Finn Balor, however you pronounce that last name is. I didn't expect him to take off the way he did. I knew he was going to be big in NXT. I did not think he would be that big. But he is. I didn't expect Hideo Itami to be as successful as he is. But he is that successful. In fact, though, I think the only reason right now the main reason right now that he isn't on the same level as Baylor, or Finn Balor, Baylor, whatever, Prince Devitt, that he's on that same level as him right now. There's the two things. The language barrier that he's still adjusting to, and adjusting to the WWE style, maybe slow, whatever. Otherwise, a good friend who does body paint and whatnot, he has two things right for him already. They adjust his style very easily, and he speaks English. So, very simple for him. He is going to be huge on the main roster in due time. Hopefully without a Mighty Mouse gimmick or something. I don't know. I mean, let's just talk about that for all of 30 seconds. Adrian Neville with a Mighty Mouse gimmick on the main roster, if that's what goes down. Really, I really had to dig in my memory banks to remember what Mighty Mouse was. All I remember was the theme song for that show. Even then, that was like, oh man, that was awful. I like the Steve Gracious theme song. That's completely unrelated, but I love that theme song. Steve Gracious is good theme. Man, songs like what? Great little thing. But that's how I feel about Smoke. All right. We have been going on for about 55 minutes now, so we're going to take about 5 minutes to talk pretty much nonsense, but not about the product because why not? It's always fun to just talk about the product. Been watching ROH a little bit more recently now because it comes on Saturday, which is today at 10 o'clock. It comes on tomorrow at midnight as well. So I can catch it right after Talking Dead, which I don't watch. I watch Walking Dead. I don't like Chris Harper all that much. It's a shame because it's probably one of my favorite albums. But in any case, watching ROH more recently, and I have to say, I'm happy and impressed and proud that there are so many brothers in ROH who have made such a big impact. I don't usually play the race card when it comes to professional wrestling in a very positive light. I often get on what they did with Kingston and Big E and Xavier Woods, and I say, y'all, you just don't come on, man. You put them all in matching outfits. Give them a theme song that sounds like it came from Kirk Franklin and God's property. What do you expect that was going to happen? Everyone's sitting there clamoring for a new nation. I'm like, we don't need a new nation, but we need something that's new for them. Then you go to ROH, you got ACH and Cheeseburger and Moose. It's like, whoa, these guys are beasts. I love this. All these brothers having impact. You get to more, and you're like, wow. It'd be like I'd be like that urban wrestling federation that they tried to do way back when. It was a terrible idea. I'm glad it didn't take off. But uh, I'm just happy to see some of these brothers, you know, carrying on the professional wrestling thing because let's be honest, ACH, he is amazing. He really is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I gotta say about that.
I think to co-sign with you, I watch ACH. I watch ROH too. Um, Not only do I agree with you that ACH is simply amazing at what he does, I think Jay Lethal, hands down, is the best champion in a professional wrestling organization today. And the reason that I say that is the way he carries himself with that TV title and the way that he almost effortlessly defends it. And how he even walks to the ring, it makes you pay attention to him. And even the psychology in his matches and who he's facing. So I'm just like, Jay Lethal is the best champion they got today in professional wrestling, I believe. Only person that to me comes close would be Brock Lesnar. The reason why Brock Lesnar comes close to me is because he is that main event guy. People complained and moaned about him not being around, but when he comes, you know it's the thunder, and you get excited to see him coming. So I think this is the same thing with Jay Lethal, and for similar reasons, but very opposite. You see Jay Lethal all the time. He's constantly defending his title, but justify that he backs it up, and it's just amazing to watch when he does his craft in the ring. I enjoy ROH thoroughly because you know what it is, and at this point, it's comfortable, or it comes off as being comfortable with where it is and how it's growing. Slowly but surely, if even slowly. They may have even plateaued and remaining consistent, but they're consistently them. So when I watch ROH on Sinclair, it's not uh, TNA light, it's not WWE light, it's not New Japan Pro Wrestling light, it is ROH. And it is consistently ROH. And they've been around for 13 years. I enjoy it. I'm happy. Let me talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling and how if you call yourself a pro wrestling fan and you're not watching it, you're not talking about it to somebody, you're not really a pro wrestling fan. You make no bones about liking sports entertainment, being a part of that crew that people hate. But I enjoy watching Mauro Ranello, and another guy. Doing their commentary, listen to their commentary for how it's presented. Great stuff. If you don't have access to the used to be HD net, um, I'm pretty sure you can find it. that to watch this stuff after that. I said, if you enjoy pro wrestling, please watch this very television. Period. Um, and then the other thing that I want to mention, and I mentioned it on the site, the post I did, it's very funny that when TNA was in dire straits about an American distributor for their product, everybody was, oh, TNA is going to die and folks were having parades and marches about it. Some fans were like, well, how dare, what type of person to leave for this company about a business supposed to leave their jobs and you have nowhere to go. So you literally have one television now, WWE, TNA, uh, Mobile Force Wrestling still trying to search for a television partner, but, time will tell. But they exist. You've got ROH, you got New Japan Pro Wrestling, you got Lucha Underground, you got Lucha Libre from CMLL that airs um, here for me where I'm living in Georgia on Saturdays at 4 in the afternoon, 4 or 5 in the afternoon, something like that. Around the same time Lucha Underground airs. You got all these promotions and all these places where people are going. Before Drew Galloway debuted in TNA, he was wrestling for Dave Sapolsky's Evolve wrestling organization, and I think he still is the Evolve champion. So, I thought that was real funny that folks were like, "Oh, you're gonna, how dare you? They're gonna lose their jobs. They're not gonna have anywhere to go." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" It's like 800 different companies I can watch on a Monday night. And then not only that, I used to write these blank night fandom posts, blank morning fandom, Saturday morning fandom, Friday night fandom, and I would talk about all these other organizations and types of wrestling. I only did a handful of them, but I would suggest that if you don't do it as a wrestling, go on the internet, search for all these other different organizations, Pro Wrestling Syndicate in New Jersey, Revolution Pro in Chicago, um, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, NWA Championship from Hollywood. Find out if your NWA, the remaining NWA always have affiliates and watch them. And you'll find some incredible stuff that'll break up the monotony of just watching nothing but the WWE product. I think that's one of the reasons why, for me, what the WWE doesn't get stale is because I'm not constantly subjecting myself to only their product. I watch a wide gamut of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, type things, and that just doesn't include what comes on TV. That includes DVDs, that includes documentaries. I have to get into more of the interviews and stuff that people do once they left the organization. Shoot videos, RF, videos, stuff like that. But, expose yourself to as much stuff as you can and don't limit yourself. Because if you limit yourself, I think that's one of the reasons why you don't get up with what's offered. Especially if you live in a world where the only two promotions that exist, air quotes again, are WWE and TNA. So, and then that's just going to continue with the dualistic battles that we have. Oh, this is better. Oh, that is better. So I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff that's been in the WWE and TNA, and they're not even on, television, at least for the national market. They're only on local market. I'll go back to Pro Wrestling Syndicate in New Jersey. If you haven't watched their stuff is available on YouTube, at least every week after the on television. And I was telling you, Chris, about the guy Mario Bokara, who is interesting to me because he's Croatian, and I can't figure out if he's actually Croatian or not. But he's interesting to me because one, his whole arsenal revolves around a arm bar, and so he spends an entire match working the hell out of your arm. And two, he's Croatian. So out of all the wrestlers that we've had, the Russian one, the one from the one wrestler from Helsinki, if you can remember his name, because I can't think of it right now, then maybe we'll get you some wings here or something. I don't know. But it's the guy that wrestled from Helsinki that was unbeatable in the WWE and was there for a stint. So you got all these wrestlers from that, Puerto Rico, Spain, Fandango from wherever Fandango is. And then you got this guy from Croatia. It's just like, I didn't think wrestlers wrestle in Croatia, and so the concept of that just intrigued me. Also, the Rotten Apple, Johnny Washington, I think that's his name. And then you've got Habib from the Car Wash. That is his name, Habib from the Car Wash. That's the guy's name. But also, you got Brian Myers, who used to be Kurt Hawkins in the WWE wrestling. Um, Gabe Tuft, who used to be Tyler Rex in the WWE wrestling there. And then they had a match between Rob Van Dam and AJ Styles. And, you know, again, if you don't know about this stuff or you know about it and you just casually pretend like it doesn't exist, then you just spend all of your time being ticked off. Oh, the WWE doesn't do what I want to do. Well, there's 500 other organizations that do. They do it a lot better. And it's the same thing with us. Oh, TNA is boring. Well, there's 500 organizations that aren't boring. And you can watch that in between watching TNA stuff. Now, and one more thing, I got to go get up and get it before we log off. One more thing.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm
I'm back.
go through one more thing, one little last thing. Just a little fun thing for me. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Who I'm thinking is gonna win? I'm torn between our new prophet Axel, Curtis Axel,
Axel
and
Mania.
and of course Gold Prophet Damien Mizdow. We got two conflicting, religious ideologies between the two, and I don't know which one will lead us to the promised land of Zack Ryder. So I'm not sure. I'm hoping one of them wins, though. I just don't want Big Show to win because I don't want the Big Show Memorial Battle Royal. I don't want Big Show to die. Not yet.
Nobody wants Big. I don't think Big Show wants Big Show to win this match. I'm with on the site. Keep pimping the site. It's still real to me. Damn it.com. We have WrestleMania voting up. I voted for Kurt Axel. A part of me that's going to die when he loses the match says he's not going to win the match. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. This is about principle, and I'm supporting Kurt Axel. But I never got into the habit of trying to predict who would win the Royal Rumble because I would rather be surprised. And of course, you hear the rumblings and you hear people talking. There are guesses, there are some guesses that are more right than others. But literally, you got 30 men in the ring, and the objective is to not be thrown out of the ring, and you have no idea where the company is really going as far as WrestleMania is concerned. You may have guesses that are good, but I don't, I've never been 100%. Closest I came was the 1 year with Sheamus. Like, Sheamus is going to win it. I couldn't tell you how I knew. I just knew Sheamus was going to win it. I got lucky. After that, I said, let's not push my luck anymore. One trend that I noticed is that, at least with the Royal Rumble, when superstar returns from injury, odds are they're probably going to win it. But that wasn't the case with Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, you never know. All that being said, it's the same thing with this. With the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. I don't know who's going to win, but at this point, they still really haven't solidified what that victory is, other than getting the name on a trophy. And I mean, y'all know what the Money in the Bank ladder match represents and symbolizes. A shot at the World Heavyweight Championship whenever you choose. But the first winner of this battle memorial was Cesaro, and he got a first-class ticket to work with Paul Heyman. And now he's in a tag team with Tyson Kidd, and everybody's like, yay, they're in a good place. So that's what kind of makes me feel lackluster about even going further than Kurt Axel. Because, I mean, what's next? His name's on the trophy under Cesaro, and he goes back to what? Exactly.
Well, to be fair, this is a new trophy because for some reason they destroyed the last one. I don't know why, but I think Cesaro destroyed it himself. disrespectful towards Andre the Giant, if you ask me. But what do I know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What to say?
yeah, this was my last thing. And so everybody can see. This is an actual copy of the Flintstones in WWE colon Stone Age SmackDown, and just so there's an actual DVD case in it, and so you'll see that when I open it up, there's the actual DVD because I wrote about it and I told people in the thing that I bought it, and I wasn't ashamed of my purchase. Now I've got a lot of stuff that I am ashamed of and regret buying, as far as DVD is concerned, but I'm not with this because it's just a cartoon, and unfortunately, people like you and I, Mr. Lamb, are not the only ones that watch professional wrestling.
True.
People know too, and the WWE as an entertainment mogul or entertainment giant, I'll say it like that. They're diverse. I think one of the problems that was pointed out, and even Mark Madden said in one of his columns, is that the programming tries to respond to the desires of too many demographics at once, which is why Raw, or yeah, Monday Night Raw kind of now feels like Saturday Night Live, live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Saturday Night Raw, Um, but this is proof of that point that Madden made is that they also go after a demographic that likes things like this, no matter how much we despise it. And the thing about it is, if you take it for what it is, it's just a cartoon with WWE stars, and you don't go beyond that, you have a great time watching. Don't be so serious because if you're serious, then one can easily infer that you hate kids, and if you hate kids, then that's odd because you were a kid. So, and the other thing is too that I pointed out
Yeah.
for everybody who talks about the PG era, the PG era, this and PG era, that it has less to do with the product being more kid friendly and more to do with the writing of this particular era being substandard in a lot of ways. Why am I saying that? Because if you watched TNA yesterday and you were paying attention to what Bob Ryder and I think Dixie Carter tweeted it too, they're tweeting warnings. Viewer discretion is advised. If this product was so not PG in TNA's realm, why would you have to do this viewer discretion thing? Because you know for a fact that you got younger audiences watching your product. And they too are attempting to be a little bit more kid friendly in some way. I mean, just get over it. Kids like wrestling too. We were kids when we watched wrestling. You got to think. When Stone Cold was in his heyday, I was in the eighth grade. The Attitude Era was really kicking up. I was in high school. And that's how I got hooked and I remained a fan. I didn't come into watching wrestling when I was 29. I came in when I was like 8, 9, or 10. And my taste matured. So we may just be going through the same type of stuff. But thank God there are like 400 different promotions with national TV deals that you don't just have to watch. You can watch other stuff. If you don't like it, then you continue doing what you do and talk badly about it and move on to a program that you do prefer. So, this Stone Age SmackDown thing, I wouldn't recommend buying this if you don't like frivolity like we do in the movies. And even my little brothers and sisters don't like frivolity that much, but I do. I'll buy it. I bought the Scooby Doo one, and I enjoyed that one too because it was hilarious for so many reasons that it didn't. I'm pretty sure they didn't intend for it to be hilarious. I'm looking forward to the next Scooby Doo one that they come out with, so I can talk about that one. But I mean, it's just why so serious? You know, wrestling is a far cry from where it used to be when you had George Hackenschmidt beating a saber-tooth tiger on the lawn of the White House. Like, it's not it's well beyond that. Not that.
And you make good points there. And I'm gonna end this broadcast on two of my own. One, we will always respect the Flintstones because we have to remember the first live action Flintstones movie. It was Halle Berry and a very, very, very tiny dress, which is very nice. You have to appreciate that. Golf clap for that. Lovely. And second, and this is a question because you watched the movie, I haven't watched it. Why was the Undertaker wearing a sombrero? Why was the Undertaker wearing a sombrero?
So the fact that you knew the Undertaker wearing a sombrero means you at least scrolled through the post that I did and saw the picture. But
So
they were on
confused.
vacation. That's
He
all
was
I can
still
say.
wearing that sombrero. I was gonna
No,
leave a comment asking why he was wearing the sombrero, but it's like I think I'll just ask him directly. Why is the Undertaker wearing a sombrero? He did not even look happy. So
no,
confused.
no. That's the funny part. If you go back and look at that picture, he does kind of have this Mona Lisa smirk on his face, and I didn't realize that until I posted the picture. I was like, "Hey, the Undertaker's smiling." No, no. What you have to ask yourself, if you were to look at it, is how did John Cena get a job at a stone quarry without even applying for said job, as far as we know? And he was like Mr. Slate's sister's brother-in-law's nephew twice removed or something like that, and he got a job. And then the other thing is like, why are Cena, Punk, Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Mark Henry the only large wrestler bodybuilder type guys walking around in Bedrock, including the people working at the Stone Quarry that Fred works at? Like, it's just so many other questions, and that's why I enjoyed it, because I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. If you watch it, you get the idea that Fred is actually not a very good person.
Really is though. I mean, I'm honestly, anytime I've watched the Flintstones, and I respect the Flintstones, I've always wondered to myself, one, why do they have a dinosaur as a pet when they use dinosaurs for everything? And two, does he cheat on his wife? And I honestly think he does both of those things. But we're gonna leave that, leave that alone entirely. I'd like to thank our viewers, those that have viewed, those that will view it in the future, for viewing this little broadcast. I promise you, we're still trying to think of a name for this. We can tell y'all so you can tell your friends about it. We'll get to that eventually. Still kind of wrestling with things. For now, it's still called the Second News Council live broadcast. The next one will probably be number three. Um, Again, I am Mr. Lamb, what you call it, future husband to Sasha Banks. And of course, we also have the infamous one himself, the granddaddy of pro wrestling writing, Mr. Anderson Morris. Thank you for your time, good sir. All right.
Thank
And,
you.
and we will be back again next week, hopefully with more people. And we will probably have a focus on TNA because we do that. So, from all of us here at Nude Headquarters in scenic, who knows where, anywhere USA. Peace.